Hey friend, we've got some good news to kick off this conversation today. As we all know, Dak Prescott has been fighting his way back after that hamstring injury in Week 9 that we thought could derail his entire season. But here's the update we've all been hoping for. Dak is off crutches, and he's moving forward with his recovery. NBC's Sunday Night Football gave us the inside scoop during a recent telecast, and here's what we learned. Dak, who had surgery on November 13th, is already showing signs of progress. Melissa Stark, the sideline reporter, caught up with him and shared that just a few days before, Dak was finally able to ditch the crutches. That's huge, right? It means he's well on his way to getting back to the field, and also signals that he's putting the worst of this injury behind him. But here's the thing, while we've got some good news to share, the journey's not over. Doc's saying he's still about a month away from being able to run again, so his rehab is still in full swing. Right now, he's focusing on building up his core strength and upper body power, which are crucial steps for his leg recovery. And as he said himself, he's aiming for a full recovery in time for the offseason workouts that kick off in April. So here's my question for you: how do you feel about Doc's recovery so far? Do you think he'll be 100% by the time OTAs roll around? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm curious to know what you think. Voiceover suggestion for interaction. Quick question: do you believe Doc can come back stronger than ever? Or do you think his mobility will be an issue next season? Hit that poll up top and let's see where the fans stand on this. Now, before we go any further, let me ask, what are you expecting from Doc in 2024? The road to recovery might be tough, but we know how much determination this guy has. Stick with me, and let's talk about some of the rumors that have been swirling about Doc's mobility and why some of them might be more fantasy than reality. Alright, now that we've got the positive update on Doc's recovery, let's dive into something that's been buzzing around: his mobility. You've probably heard the chatter. Some people are saying Doc could come back as a more mobile quarterback after this injury. They're even suggesting that rehab might help him improve his mobility. But, friend, I have to tell you, that's a bit of a stretch. Here's the reality: Doc is 31 years old, and we've already seen how tough it was for him to regain his full mobility after the ankle injury in 2020. So, to think that this hamstring injury is going to turn him into some kind of speedster is, frankly, unrealistic. Now, I'm not saying he won't improve. Of course, he will. But let's keep it real: his days of making those crazy scrambles and breaking away from defenders like he used to are probably behind him. But here's what's important: even if Doc doesn't come back as a mobile quarterback, he can still be effective. Think about it, he's always been a smart player with great vision. His mobility may not be the same, but his decision-making and leadership are what will really drive this team forward in 2024. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Doc can still be effective without relying heavily on his mobility? Or do you think the Cowboys need a more mobile quarterback to keep up with the competition? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to take the poll at the top of the screen. What's your take on this? Voiceover suggestion for interaction. Vote now: should the Cowboys adjust the offense to suit Doc's strengths, or should they be looking for a more mobile option? Cast your vote in the poll. Alright, now that we've tackled the mobility debate, let's look at something that might surprise you: Doc's plan for the offseason. There's more to this recovery than just healing up. Let's talk about what he's aiming for, and how he's planning to come back strong in 2024. Okay, now that we've touched on the mobility side of things, let's dive into what Doc's actually planning for his recovery and the offseason. And trust me, his plan for 2024 is ambitious, to say the least. Doc's been vocal about his desire to come back with zero restrictions when the offseason workouts start in April. That's right, he's aiming to hit the ground running, and he's determined to be fully prepared to lead the Cowboys into the next season. According to Doc himself, this injury and surgery were kind of a blessing in disguise. He's looking at this recovery process as a way to focus on other aspects of his game. Right now, he's putting a lot of energy into strengthening his core and upper body areas that are critical for maintaining stability and power when he's back out on the field. We all know Doc's leadership and intelligence are huge assets for this team, but he also knows that being physically prepared is key to performing at his best. But here's the kicker: while it's great that Doc's aiming for a clean slate come April, it's not going to be easy. The road to recovery is long, and there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. But Doc's mentality has always been about overcoming obstacles, and that's exactly what he's doing now. He's not just aiming to be ready for OTAs. He's setting himself up to be the best version of Dak Prescott, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. What do you think, though? Do you believe Doc can come back fully prepared and take this team to the next level? Or is there more concern about how this injury might affect him long term? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear if you think Doc will be ready for a big 2024 season. Voiceover suggestion for interaction: what's your confidence level in Doc's rehab and recovery? Take the poll above, and let's see where the Cowboys Nation stands on this. Now that we've covered Doc's plan for the offseason, it's time to look at something else: his role as a leader on this team. Even though he's been sidelined, Doc's leadership hasn't missed a beat. Let's explore how he's still guiding the Cowboys through this tough stretch. Now, let's talk about something really important: the leadership Doc is still bringing to this team, even while he's not on the field. It's easy to forget how much of an impact a quarterback has off the field, but Doc has been proving time and time again that his leadership doesn't stop just because he's sidelined with an injury. Even though he's not in the game, Doc's been very present with the team. He's been spotted on the sideline during games, supporting his teammates, and he's also been seen in the suites, still engaged with the action. That might seem like a small thing, but trust me, it's a big deal for the Cowboys. Doc's presence, his encouragement, and his ability to motivate others while he's not playing showed just how much he cares about the success of this team. It's not just about being on the field, it's about being a leader in every aspect of the game, and Doc is doing that. And let's be real, this team needs a leader. With so much uncertainty around the quarterback position, having Doc involved in every step of the recovery process and being there for his teammates is crucial. Whether it's offering advice, supporting the young guys, or being that vocal leader on the sideline, Doc's impact is still being felt. But here's a question for you: how important do you think Doc's leadership is right now? Do you believe his presence, even from the sidelines, is enough to keep the team motivated? Or do you think the Cowboys need a little more firepower on the field to stay competitive? Drop your thoughts below. I'm really interested to hear your take on this. Voiceover suggestion for interaction: how crucial is Doc's leadership off the field for the Cowboys' success? Take the poll and let's see if you think his presence is enough to push the team forward, now that we've covered Doc's leadership. Let's start looking ahead to what 2024 might hold for him and for the Cowboys. Will Doc's recovery and leadership be enough to turn things around, or is there more to the story? Let's dive into what the expectations should really be for 2024. Alright, now that we've covered Doc's rehab and leadership, let's shift gears and talk about what we can realistically expect from him and the Cowboys in 2024. The road ahead might be tough, and while Doc is pushing himself to be ready for off-season workouts, we need to consider a few things before jumping to conclusions about how effective he'll be. First off, we know that Doc is aiming to come back fully prepared, but let's not forget he's 31 years old, and he's had his fair share of injuries over the years. The 2020 ankle injury was tough to come back from, and now, this hamstring tear is another obstacle. Sure, he's working hard to bounce back, but expecting him to be the same dynamic, mobile quarterback he was a few years ago might be setting the bar too high. What we should be looking for is consistency. If Doc can come back and be the smart, reliable leader that he's always been, that's a win for the Cowboys. It's not about him scrambling for 50-yard runs anymore. It's about him making the right decisions, staying calm under pressure, and leading this offense with precision and vision. That's what will get the Cowboys to where they need to be in 2024. Now, let me ask you this: how do you feel about Doc's future with the Cowboys? Do you think his best years are still ahead of him, or is it more about adjusting to a new style of play? Let me know in the comments below. Voiceover suggestion for interaction: do you think Doc's 2024 season will be a breakthrough year or a year of adjustment? Vote now and share your thoughts in the comments. With all that in mind, let's turn our attention to the bigger picture. If Doc can stay healthy and perform at a high level, what does that mean for the Cowboys' Super Bowl chances next year? Let's take a closer look at what needs to happen for Dallas to compete in 2024.